Let's see who's here. I see the Beetle guy is here. Wendy Hickson, Frank the Tank, Closer Forte. Awesome. 7 people here today, looks like. Switching the chat over so that it's not on slow chat. And we'll be good to go. Hey, everybody. I brought a friend this time. Last time I did a stream live, this guy was not here because he was in blue. Didn't want to disturb him, or her, as the case may be. We still don't know. But there we go. Oh, going right down my shirt. That's not something he does all that often, so I'm kind of surprised. I see Rochelle is here as well. Excellent. Alex McQuillan, round one. Pitts fam, hey. Been a while. So if you haven't met my friend here, are you going to try to knock my microphone off from under my shirt? Doru, hello. Mythos Exotics, hello. This is Mr. Skeletal. He's my son's corn snake. This is a hypomelanistic corn snake, we think. We got it as an adoption from its first owner. So yeah, he measures out at just over 4.5 feet long now. So not small for a corn snake, not gigantic, but decent size for a corn snake and doing well. I see Laura Taylor's here. There's Laura from BioLives as well. And I got the package and I'm working on the video, so that's a little bit of a spoiler. I'm not going to say too much about it, only that Laura from BioLive sent me a package and I have been working on a video about it. So you can look forward to that. It's coming out soon. So thank you again, Laura, for sending that. And Rochelle, your checkered garter is going into blue. Awesome. I do love checkers. That's a species I'm going to have to keep sometime. Look at that. Looks like I have a snake tattoo, kind of. DSM Exotics got your first isopods today. Congrats. Which species? And thank you, Thistle. I rather think he's a gorgeous snake as well, especially out in the natural light, right? Very pretty snake. Just shed a few, I'm going to say maybe a week or so ago. Hey, Beetle Guy. Hey, Magnificent Animals. Chains Worlds. And Yotaro 925. Tara Dahmer. Pedro Dominguez is here. Aunt Cindy Skinks. Welcome all. Good. Oh, there's Ruben as well. So we have a decent number of Patreon questions. I want to make sure to get in there. Now I look like I have unusually shaped shoulders. Thank you, Mr. Skeleton, for doing that. For Sailor Lives Dairy Cows. Awesome. So Mythos Exotics, do you have any silver ghosts? That is not a type I've kept. Just one second. Just grabbing my phone. How's the audio coming in, everybody? Hopefully we're sounding okay with this microphone. I think Thistle saying videos have helped so much with many successful isopod colonies. Excellent. Working on a new enclosure right now. Also excellent. Moditor plays. I heard that some subspecies of Armadillidium paracai circulate in the hobby as Armadillidium pallici. I hadn't heard that, but I wouldn't be too surprised because there's a lot of confusion going on in the hobby as far as taxonomy. Although we're clearing some of that up, or it is being cleared up. I'm not doing it, but there are people who are doing it. And corn snakes have, this is a great question, they don't have keeled scales, they have smooth scales. Unlike my garter snakes have keeled scales, quite smooth. And Yotaro, yes, there you go, snake shoulder pads are back. Blast from the alternate past. Good, all right, the audio is coming through, great. Oh, Wanderlust Farm, I got to meet Wanderlust Farm at the expo recently, that was fun. And how's the Wandering Garter going? Wandering Garter looking going? What kind of isopod is this? This is the Pantherophis isopod. Oh, there's Lannybug Organics. Awesome. Welcome. So Monitor, you bought some Armadillidium pallici thinking that was the ex-Frontirostra giants wanting to get disappointed with tiny paracai. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. They're still cool. I mean, paracai are cool. I find that in some ways they're similar. They don't look very similar, but in terms of the fact that they will totally swarm underneath a piece of cork bark and just like wall-to-wall isopods, I find that my palisae do the same thing as the Paracai in that way. So kind of fun. All right, I am checking the messages on my Patreon that were posted here. There are a couple messages here. So Silver Tears wanted to know, I'm sorry, I'm used to looking at the camera over here and the camera's now over here, a little weird. I'm still getting used to it. So see what it says. How are you? Silver Tear says, how are your T- or T- albino vulgare doing? Actually quite well. I've had that culture for a while, and I recently, sorry, I should have put on do not disturb. I'm getting all these texts coming in. I'm trying to get them out of the way of the screen. So they're doing pretty well. They're breeding well. I actually took some of them to the expo to see if they would sell. They didn't sell at the expo, which I thought was kind of strange because they're pretty rare. They're hard to get. You never know what you're going to get when you go to the expo, what you're going to sell and what's not going to sell. Like I took some Porcellio orneri to the expo. Those did not sell. I did not expect that. That's weird. I really would have expected those to go. They did not. But anyway, because my colony's doing really well of that. But sorry, I'm getting on a tangent. The T- albinos doing well. I've had them for several years now, I think. And they're a really unusual sort of vulgare morph and seem fairly robust, doing fairly well. I don't have the colony with me right now. Of course, it's a little bit logistically challenging to do it when I'm outside. So I probably won't bring them out today, but maybe in a live stream coming up, I can do that, and that would be cool. So thank you for asking, and I'll try to remember to show those in an upcoming live stream. And we also have one from Aunt Sandy Skinks saying, any suggesting? Oh, are you going to crawl on the? No, let's stay up here, buddy. Let's stay up here. That'd be better, rather than crawl on the banister and get stuck. So Sandy, Aunt Sandy Skink says, any suggestions for ridding small moths that are breeding in my substrate? So what we have to do to figure this one out, Sandy, is determine what species you have of moth. I have my suspicions. I'm going to pull up a picture. Hopefully it'll show up here. So I don't have a better way to show you than just show you a photo on my phone. But I do have some photos of what I believe to be the moth you are referring to on my phone here. So it's just going to take me a minute to get to him. Just have to scroll through. Oh, there we go. If the moth you were talking about looks like this, is that fairly in focus, everybody? Can you see that? It doesn't look too bad to me. So if this looks something like the moth you're talking about, Aunt Sandy Skinks, then we will talk about this moth. So let me know if that's the one we're looking at. Okay, so, and here we go. Oh, and close the forte. Yeah. Well, fortunately, because you're local to me, if you decide you want to buy some new ice pods, it'll be easy enough to get them. You don't have to go very far. Oh, I lost my microphone. Sorry, pieces of it. Fixing it. Okay. So we need to determine, Aunt Sandy Skink, what type of moth you have before we can go too far on. But I have another couple of ideas. So, Anthony, if you do a search for Indian meal moth, is that what you get? It's considerably smaller than the one that I just showed you a picture of. I'll see if I can do a picture of Indian meal moth. The one I just showed you is Pyralis farinalis, or at least in the genus Pyralis. And I'm actually going to be making a video on those because they're fairly common isopod pests. But let me see if I can get an Indian meal moth picture. These are pretty small. That's a decent picture right there. Is it more like that? Trying to get that in focus is challenging, but Does it look more like that, Sandy? If this is the one, then we'll go with that. Okay. Wendy Hickson, your primitive jumping ants have some larvae. That's awesome. I got to know more about this species. I don't know much about this species, but it sounds pretty cool. So, and where am I? I'm in my backyard. This is my backyard right here. I'm on my little balcony that adjoins the master bedroom. Uh, so, it's a very light color, about 1/3 of an inch. Yeah, I don't know. Once you've had a chance to refer to that picture, let me know, because I want to see if we can identify it. Um, okay, Luch. There's Luch Carlucci. Greetings. Good to have you back. Magnificent animals. I have a friend making a bioactive vivarium for corn snake. What times of isopods and springtails do you recommend for that? One of my top recommendations for isopods for that enclosure would be Porcellonides prenosus, any of the powders, powder blue, powder orange, party mix, whatever, Oreos, doesn't matter, same species. That's what I would put in there. And as far as springtails, probably I guess it's technically Cecobria now, but the Sinella curvicetta, the ones that are a little bit more arid tolerant than the Fulsomia candida. That's what I have in mind. I have mostly Porcellonides prenosus and Sinella curvicetta springtails. Yeah, this tree back here, not the one right behind me, not the one I can touch here. I guess you can't really see that. The one that's a little bit further over. Let's see, is it this way? Yeah, this tree right here. This is called the Kentucky Yellowwood, and it's going to go into flower. And it pretty soon it's got buds all over it. I don't know if you can really see them, probably not so well, but it's going to go into flower soon. And when it does, I want to do a live stream in front of it because it is absolutely gorgeous. The flowers smell beautiful. They look gorgeous. They're kind of a cascading sort of compound flower head. They're fantastic. So I want to do that, and I think that's going to come up in a future live stream. So, oh, okay. So Aunt Sandy skinks, if yours are very, very, very tiny, you might have drain flies or fairy flies. Do a search for drain flies and fairy flies. I'm trying to remember what I think there are a couple of genera of those, but that may be what you have. Hmm. We'll have to look into that. Logan, is my corn snake active during the day? Somewhat, not nearly as much as my garters, but I will see him out and about during the daytime. Just, I would say, compared to my garters, a lot less, maybe 30%, 20% of what my garters are doing during the day, maybe even less than that, but reasonably active for a corn snake during the day. Oh, Mysopods and more. Congratulations on the Philotia muscorum monkai. That's fantastic. Oh, Fitzfem. I am in the state of Utah, so I cannot ship Porcellia werneri out of state. I can sell them at expos in state, but I can't ship them. So if you are in Utah, though, we could make it work. Oh, the beetle guy. I think I remember the dogwoods. Those are beautiful. Yeah, and one of the things that I think why you might have the drain flies or the drain moths is the fact that they do eat decomposing matter like wet leaf litter. So that could be what they're reacting to. People get them in their shower drains and stuff because, the things that are washing down the drain will um, encourage a bacterial film, a biofilm to form on the inside of the drain, inside your sink. Usually not where you're washing the sink, but down in the pipes. And so they will form down there where you can't quite get to it as often, and that's why they have that name. But they will sometimes they have the potential for inhabiting moist colonies of isopods where there's constantly damp leaf litter. So that could be what's going on. Let's see. Do I have any other Patreon questions that I missed? As far as controlling those, I haven't had issues with those in my cultures, so I'm not sure what to say about that. However, it would be interesting to find out if they respond to um, fly tapes in the same way, or to the they respond the same way to like a catchy or not. I'm not sure if they do, but if they did, that would be awesome. Clogmia, that's the genus I was thinking of. Clogmia. Um, Kyle from Roach Crossing has been actually culturing the Clogmia, and he calls them drain fairies. I think is what sewer fairies. Sewer fairies. That's the word. Sewer fairies, which I think is a cool name for them. Uh, and I think the fact that they're called Clogmia is kind of hilarious. But I couldn't remember the name. I knew it was related to something that made sense in the context of getting in drains, but I couldn't remember what it was. So Lannybugs, do you have any experience on breeding green bottle flies? Ooh, okay. I do not. I've thought about it. I don't think I could get away with it in my house. I think my wife would be upset with me. Fruit flies, I've bred those for years and years. Um, that's it, really. So I have not worked with that. But who is it that, what type is it that, no, it's not a different kind of fly. Sorry. I wish I knew more about that. Young lads here too. So mysopods, yeah. Which snake did you house or did you hold when you were at the Reptarium? It was at Brian Barczyk's facility, the Reptarium. Sounds pretty cool. Um, so Aunt Sandy, see if you can get a really close-up picture of this critter, or several of these critters, preferably, and send me a picture if you can, and we'll see what we can do. I'm kind of curious as to what you have here. They do get sucked down the catchy. Okay, that's good. That's at least one way to control them. That helps. Okay. So cement airbag. Yeah, I definitely go with the Porcelionides pruinosus in there with the leopard gecko. That's what I use. I'd say Aniscus ocellus would stay more to the moist areas and not do a whole lot. Cubaris papaya might do okay. Klugi might do okay, but they might nibble on the plants too much. Cubaris papaya might do that a little bit. Powder blues are probably going to be the best. Or any powder. And Ruben, congrats on the Pak Chongs. You found a jumping spider on your ceiling and stole it. Yeah, one of the Phidippus audax that I have was found. I think when my son found it in our house at some point. So Lannybug, I remember hearing. I can't remember which species of fly it was, but it was a larger fly that someone was raising. They used a milk-based formula that didn't smell as bad as like a meat one, and it did seem to get them to lay eggs. You know, if I could, and I know my wife won't let me do this, well, if it's in the house, but when I get a facility, I think what I'm going to do for mantis and stuff like that is just go into some of the climbing roach species, because Kyle Candilian at Roach Crossing has a lot of success raising things like jumping spiders and mantids on these roaches that climb. They get up where the uh, mantids and the jumping spiders need to see them. They climb right up when you put them in there, and of course that means they're a little bit more difficult to contain, but possible. And rely on that, because it seems like flies are very difficult to work with because of the odor and other things like that. I was really interested in trying curly winged flies at one point because they seemed like they're easier to deal with because they can't really fly. But then I learned that the homozygous form, I believe it is, of the curly winged flies, it's a lethal combination of genes, and so only the heterozygotes survive, which is a little weird. The heterozygotes express the curly wings, but they also produce a lot of, when they cross, you get that issue. So that doesn't seem to work too well. Oh, a Mandarin rat snake, cool. Yeah, milk and dog food, okay. Aki monitor, that's cool. Akis are neat. Isopods, I believe it has a C in there as well as a K. So any interesting recommendations for alternative or less common feeders for jumping spiders? Let's see, less common in terms of the most common are flies, crickets, and mealworms. You can use small superworms. If you're breeding superworms and you can get them that small. You can use, let's see, waxworms. I guess that's not that uncommon. I have fed an adult phoenix worm or black soldier fly after having a larva pupate. Have used that. What else have I used? I've used Pyralis farinalis moths. That's a less common feeder for jumping spiders. They seem to like those, and they also like the Pyralis farinalis larvae. So, what do you think about that? Does that count? Oh, Moditor, 1-inch large conglobating isopods. That's fantastic. You know what species they are? Oh, we have a super chat from Mr. and Mrs. Morelia. Thank you. Got our second morning gecko hatch, caught her and put her with our first. Now have 2 sets of 2 eggs in our adult enclosure. Ha! It's coming along then. You're going to have lots pretty soon. That's fantastic. Congratulations on that. I've noticed I've had a bit of a lull in mine. I have a ton of eggs, but they just haven't hatched yet, and I'm kind of curious why they're not hatching. Usually this time of year, maybe it's the weird weather we've had that was cold for so long, because that does slow them down. But I have loads of fertile eggs, but I haven't had them hatching a lot recently. But congrats on that. And remind me which clonal lineage you have for that morning gecko. So Lannybug, one suggestion that Kyle at Roach Crossing has given is pallid roaches. I don't remember the scientific name right now, but he cultures pallid roaches and finds that they do exceptionally well as feeders for like the mantids and the jumping spiders. So Mythos exotics, what are white granulated isopods called? I've heard them referred to as magic potions, which is a little confusing that that's the name used, but I have heard them referred to that way. Has anyone had any experience with herp cult acrylic enclosures? A few. I've had a few. They're not bad. I like them okay. I feel like 2 things that I would say that I prefer tarantula cribs enclosures for. Tarantula cribs have more secure magnetic closures because they have more magnets per enclosure in general, and feel like they definitely, you can feel it. They close more securely, which may not be particularly important for isopods, but it could be more important for something like a centipede or perhaps a tarantula, whatever. So there's that. Another thing is that I feel like the smaller enclosures have really big ventilation holes. So if you want to put something like a tarantula sling or a small centipede or something in one of those enclosures, I feel like some of them could get out more easily from that enclosure than they could from tarantula cribs enclosure. So not bad, but those are my 2 cents. Oh, yellow belly morning gecko is awesome. I have one so far, but she hasn't produced yet, at least not that I have seen. She's probably old enough though. Yes, my spots. I know what you mean. A few short weeks ago, we were being buried in snow, and now it's spring, finally. Hey, Zero Cool's here. Magnificent animals. That question is a very common question. Do I have any orange springtails? I don't. Um, Honestly, though, I think it's kind of cool that they come in orange and red and all these colors. Because I can't ship them, it does not make any sense for me to culture them, really. uh, because they're not anymore I'm not sure how utilitarian they are. Probably do fine as a biolactic cleanup crew. I don't really know because I haven't kept them, but I don't really have a reason to keep them because I keep my other ones for purely utilitarian purposes. And since I can't ship them out, they're not really worth the space in the sense of like a financial investment in them. But I think they would be cool to have sometime. I just don't, I haven't gone into that because of that. So where do I sell my isopods? I sell them online uh, and also locally at expos, and also just locally with the classified ads, and people who know me, know of me, whatever, they come by and buy isopods. But I do a lot of um, shipping uh, around the country, and that's why I'm so concerned about permits. Oh yeah, my spots. I do go walking a lot around here. My wife and I really love to hike, and sometimes our kids will enjoy hiking too. Some enjoy it more than others. But we have a lot of cool hiking trails around here, and the herping's not bad out here. You can see there's wandering garters, there's valley garters, there's the Great Basin gopher snake, Great Basin rattlesnake. There are western yellow-bellied racer snakes. We have whiptails. We have Shalopirus, fence lizards, uh, quite a few things around here. So it's a fun place to do that, as well as profusion of interesting insects. We can go up here and get the Eleodes desert clown beetles and things like that. Right up here, like 5 minutes away. We can drive there to where they're hanging out. Yeah, this is Mr. Skeletal. I know it's a weird, difficult name to pronounce, but that's what my son chose, and it has stuck. We've had this boy probably, it'll be 5 years in October, I think. Um, and he is pretty well behaved. He's pretty chill. And I think someone just posted the answer to Mythos Exotics website. And Theropod Hunter, I haven't kept Porcellio dubosqui, but that sounds awesome. I'm glad to know that there is another isopod that will take food from your fingers. I enjoy feeding isopods by hand. So my isopods, let's see, do you see coyote deer? Oh, we definitely have deer, and I have seen deer around here. I know we have coyotes. I haven't seen one really close to here, but I have seen them in the state. There is a pond not too far from here where I see bullfrogs, which are invasive. Actually, more than one pond around here where I see bullfrogs, which unfortunately are quite invasive here. I used to see other frogs more when I was a kid, but I don't really see them much anymore. It's mostly bullfrogs, which is sad. And we don't have any native turtles right around here, but we do get things like red and yellow-bellied sliders that people have released. So that pond I was talking about. On my Instagram from last summer, you can see bullfrogs, and that there's a turtle, at least one turtle that lives in that pond that I've seen. We do get mink around here sometimes too. I haven't seen one close to here recently, but I do see them, or I have seen them. Oh, landybug. Yeah, rattlesnakes are really common, especially May is actually a really good month to run into rattlesnakes in this state. I find May and September seem to be my biggest rattlesnake months. They're not the only months I see them, but they're the ones I see the most because I'm usually hiking in the daytime. And May and September are just the right temperature range so that, especially morning or evening, you're more likely to see the rattlesnakes. I think in like July and August and so on, it gets too hot for them to be out in the daytime most of the time, although I have seen them occasionally. So yeah, Aquarimax Pets is the my website. You can also do Isopods R Us, RUS, isopodsrus.com, and it'll bring you to my my price list. Oh, Droth going caving. Interesting. I hope you do find some. So my isopods like stream some herping. Mm. Yeah, yeah, we need to try that. Definitely. I need to see how the coverage is in one of the nearer canyons, but I could probably make it work. I've sent texts and stuff from up there. It'd be worth a shot. Let's see if we can do that. I think that'd be neat.